Hey everyone, this is Dan Bell, and welcome to the Cutting Room Floor. This is episode number 19, and let's get right into it. We'll start out with this extremely annoying commercial that I found for the Lone Star Steakhouse, which I, of course, did a mashup of and kind of sculpted it to suit my sick needs. But as someone who, I could talk about that commercial all day. As somebody who worked in corporate restaurant environments, like, you know, not like privately owned restaurants, but I'm talking about like, you know, I worked in Carrabba's and I worked in Ruby Tuesday briefly at both places, of course. However, my experiences at those places were so bad, and I just find that commercial so condescending, because it's kind of like, if you look at it, it's like what, obviously the script was not written by professionals. It's the script is absolutely atrocious. I mean, you have a character in your commercial saying, "Oh, I love that glaze." I mean, you just don't put that in a commercial. It's ridiculous. It has, you know, undertones that you do not want to send out to them. I mean, there's a million things wrong with it, but it's kind of like, it reminds me of like what upper management would come up with, that concept, the idea of the couple who returns to the restaurant, you know, several times in 1 week, and the waitress is so surprised and happy, and she knows everything about what they want to eat in the menu. It's kind of like, that's what they envision their server acting like, kind of a robotic, you know, no personality. You know, when she's like, "It is one of a kind," and then she flashes that big stupid smile, you just want to like throw a glass at her head. But that's what, it's not her. That's what, you know, that's what these companies, these corporate restaurants, that's what they want their employees to act like. So it's really, I don't know, it's just, I hate that commercial so much. I really do. I hate it. When I saw it, it made me mad. So I thought, well, it would be fun to just kind of, you know, mess around with it a little bit. But anyway, so here we are inside the Lone Star Steakhouse. No more ancho glazed, or what was the I forget what the maple ancho glazed pork chops. No more of those in here. There is a glaze, but it's caused by bacteria. That's the only glaze you're going to find in this restaurant. Will was actually right there. He was taking a picture of a bunch of it was either milk cans or something was in there that was rotting. So it was just like dripping down into a big puddle of grease and whatever else was in it. It was disgusting. So I didn't get to see that, but here in the walk-in, it's pretty crazy to find all that liquor. But man, we should have been wearing respirators in this place. This was a moldy mess. So I guess I'm gonna guess that most liquors do not go bad, regardless of the circumstances they may be in. Because, like, see that Smirnoff vodka? I mean, I can't imagine that go bad. Like, does vodka ever go bad? I don't think it does. But it looks like they had the bartender just wrap up the bottles that were left and put them in the walk-in when they were closing. But why didn't they just give them out to people? Let your employees take the stuff home. They'll appreciate you a little bit better, instead of just putting it in a friggin' walk-in and letting it sit in there for years to rot away. These places are so wasteful and greedy. I really do. I hate chain restaurants. I hate them all. I don't like going to them. I rarely go to a chain restaurant. Mostly if I'm traveling, you don't have much choice sometimes if you're on the highway. You're like, well, I gotta go to Denny's or I gotta go here or whatever. I worked at Denny's too. I only worked there for 2 days when I was a teenager. I didn't like it. I was like starving and I ate a biscuit and the manager wrote me up for eating a biscuit. One biscuit. They had I remember it was a whole thing full of biscuits. And it was like a heater thing to keep them warm. Not a heater, but a warmer to keep the biscuits warm. I took one out, put some jelly on it, and ate a biscuit. I was hungry. And, I got written up for it on my first night of work. So, on the second night, the place got real rowdy because it was like a weekend. I think it was a Friday night. I just left. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I just walked out. My career at Denny's never happened. Very, very unfortunate. And I remember in corporate restaurants, like management is always on coke. I don't know what that is about corporate restaurants, but every one that I worked at, one of the managers was a cokehead. Every single one. And you hear all these strange rumors, and there'd always be that one person who's trying to be a manager. So they do everything they can to impress, the managers so they can get promoted to a manager. Those kind of people. I can't stand, who wants to be a manager in one of these restaurants? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's nothing I could think of that there's a million other, I'd rather work pumping gas, to be honest with you, than to do a job like this again. Seriously. I'd be pumping gas before doing this. I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it anymore. I don't remember the last time I had one of these jobs, but it's been a long time. But I have no good memories at all. All I have are bad memories. So maybe I was happy to walk through here because it was the death of one of these restaurants. Although technically it wasn't, though, because they rebuilt the Lone Star, the new concept, which is like, more of like a bistro, real fancy. They left behind the peanut shells and the rowdy, kind of roadhouse bar environment for a more kind of fancy carpet, one page menu kind of thing. I have not been to Lone Star in a long time, so I don't even know what they're up to today as far as food and whatever. Because I really just don't think about Lone Star Steakhouse. But if I will tell you this, if you frequent Lone Star and they have built the new restaurant or they have changed the concept from this to the fancy steakhouse concept, I would honestly just take in a bag of peanuts, shelled peanuts, and just dump them out on your table and eat them and throw the shells on the floor. And even just bring in bags for other tables. Be like, here's some peanuts. Just, let's go back in time. And just toss those shells right on the carpet. That's what I would do. But I don't think there's any Lone Stars left in Maryland. So, no rebelling there. I'm just kidding with it. And look, it's a restaurant. They do what they do. The concept of having robotic waiters seems to really work. They only closed how many of these places? Lone Star, the time has not been good to Lone Star. It really hasn't. They were popular at one time, and they've kind of just fizzled out now. I never hear anybody say, "Oh, I'm going to Lone Star Steakhouse." I mean, I don't know. I know there's still some, there's in other states there's Lone Star Steakhouses. I don't see them at all where I live. So there's bye. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week. Have a good one.